like a switchblade, I move to cut through the shame and pain of a country shame.
We are resilient. We know that our people have always struggled amidst horrifying conditions, and that keeping the circle within immense grief and immense pain and immense injustice is something we know how to do. So we are here in that tradition, carrying that on.
Erased. Her face replaced the numbers of her case. Her body was found in some trees on the west side of the D, so no need to guess her race. Her current tone is much deeper than the darkest parts of space, though melanin is irrelevant when all we're left with is a barbecued skeleton. So if we all heathens headed to hell, let us burn before we die. If we burn ourselves alive, maybe we won't be so afraid to burn after we die. In many ways, I kind of feel like the afterlife is like saying psych after a lie. When the damage has been done, might as well burn the fire.
So when you said hope, the other thing it reminded me of, some of you may be familiar with Miriam Kaba. She says that hope is a discipline. Another person that I really admire and look up to and follow is the poet and essayist Audre Lorde. She says that poetry is not a luxury. And for me, those two quotes come together, and I see poetry as my discipline and poetry as a way to generate hope. I really look at this through the lens of spoken word, not just written word, and I think that Black people in particular are at the forefront and the vanguard of the spoken word always and forever. I actually was just reading earlier today a Facebook post that talked about how Black people use the word be, because there is no word in the English language that really can communicate the past, present, and future tense all at the same time. And so African American vernacular uses the word be to do just that. Although it may be seen as improper English, when you say he be eating, you know he has been eating, he is eating, and he always will be eating. When you say he be on the block, he been on the block.
He gon' be on the block, and he gon' will be on the block.
So I want us to embrace those quotes about hope and about poetry, about the word and the spoken word, and about who we are as a people and the power that we have in us as individuals, as communities, as families, as organizations and institutions, and as political movements, global movements. So these things are all tied in together. And I want to thank you all for holding all of my words and my energy as I kicked off this with a piece. It's called Art is Bonfire. And it's a metaphor, really, to talk about how this work that we're doing is work that we put our whole selves in, and we burn our whole selves until there's nothing left, because that's all there is. That's what we're here to do. We only get one life, and so we use art as a way to generate a lot of energy and to try to make things, to make things differently or to make new things, and to try to share a connection. So we're going to start with a silent reading, and this can be silent or quiet. If you need to move around the space, feel free to do so. And then if you have a little bit of time afterwards and you want to circle some words that resonate, any key words or phrases that you feel especially drawn to, if you have a pen, just go ahead and circle those words. Go ahead and give you some time, and then we'll come back together. Okay, so for this portion, you're gonna choose one person to kick it off. This person's just gonna read the title of the poem and the author. The person to the right of them is gonna read the first stanza, and then you're gonna continue in a circle until you finish the poem.
Still I Rise by Maya Angelou.
You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may try me in the very dirt. Still, at dust, I rise.
I rise, I rise, I rise.
So the next instruction is to, as a group, go through the poem and identify and discuss any metaphors or similes, and particularly talk to any that you're drawn to and any that resonate with you all as a group.
When she said, you may shoot me with your words, so she hearing all the racist language, and you may cut me with your eyes, all the stares of us being a black woman.
That signifies that we go beyond that first slave ship.
This idea of like racial capitalism, but also liberation.
All right, if y'all can kind of move so we're back in a circle. Each group, if one person can represent the group and just talk about which metaphor you chose that resonated, something you experienced. I know a lot of folks have read this poem before, but maybe you experienced it in a new way.
Welling and swelling comes into play when, you know, we're just fed up. We're welling with, at a point where we're just tired.
From that same stanza, we had out of the huts of history shame, and really digging into the hut as the base of the metaphor. History is not fact of what happened. It is a craft and is a part actually of like colonization and white supremacy. And that goes to the first line starts with, you may write me down in history. Right? So that opens up what this piece is. And I think for us, what we really identify more than probably ever before in our reading is this as a resistance piece.
Just from what he did about this whole line, weakened by my soulful pride, that, you know, we live in a society that says never let them see you sweat. Let them never see you cry, right? But what does it take to cry in the face of it, just to cry and be vulnerable? That's where your power is. So you're not weakened by crying. You know what I mean? And most times when we see tears, folks like, oh, they done got to it. Yeah, they done got to me. They did. Yep. And I'm hurting, but guess what? I'm not broken, and I'm not done with this thing, you know?
So I think we're a little bit past the official time, but I do want to make sure that everyone has some chance to do some writing. We've done a lot of reading and a lot of talking, and I feel that we've got a lot in us that we can still express, and I want us to take this moment with us. So the prompt is, in your notebook, begin a new poem or song about yourself. Use metaphors to describe the person you will become. So you've got some inspiration. You've got probably a lot of things that have resonated within you that you've gotten from reading and hearing other people talk about this poem. And now we're going to take that energy and we're going to think about how do we create new words for who we are becoming, and shifting the focus of our beliefs from what has already happened to what's possible. So think about this poem as an opportunity to shift your beliefs from what has already happened to what's possible. Yes, we definitely, we want to close out with some words.
Past tribulations of our ancestors who paved the way, but not giving up. Taking that lesson to pave the way for future black and brown bodies.
I am fire burning down the lies with the truth of liberation. I am earth, a solid foundation, constant yet rotating, impregnated and birthing nations of black bodies from the womb of fertile land.
So we leave you with peace. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.